Alright, YouTube, so I just painted all these cabinets. So the next thing I'm going to do is to epoxy the countertop. I'm using StoneCoat epoxy for all of this. So I got my edge band was a little bit loose. So I use the original super glue to kind of glue that back on. So I got here, this piece was broken, so I found this piece behind, I think, the fridge. So I'm going to put this on. This is all going to be epoxy, but I wanted to at least cover it up properly. So I'm about to take this off. I did cut this piece to kind of match here, and I'm going to glue it on. And then sand everything. So I'm going to take you through the step. I never used StoneCoat epoxy countertop before, so this is going to be my first time. I do work with epoxy a lot, so I'm sure I'm going to do something like almost like a dirty pour. So I got my black and my white, metallic, black, metallic. And I got my white. So what I'm gonna do, I will show you the process. So I'm gonna mix everything in here, and then dump it in here. Dump some in here, add my white, and dump also some here for just a tad bit for my black, and a tad bit for my metallic white, and then mix them all together in one container, and then basically just kind of pour it out and spread it out on the counter. And then let that bleed over the edges. I will cover my doors and drawers. As you can see here, I started, so I will show you that process. I'm trying to take this off without breaking it, because I do need to reuse it. So, and the reason why it's over-install it, there's a gap here, so I didn't install it properly. But with my OCD, I want everything to go smoothly or look fine. Although everything gonna be epoxy, just I don't know, peace of mind, I guess, for me. And I'm afraid to break it, so. The other way, push. Oh, this way is a little bit easier. I mean, right here it's fine, but I think I need to take it all off and just reinstall it properly. Oh! It snapped, but it's not broken completely, so go the opposite direction. Gentle. And it came off. Kind of remove anything that's any excess glue. All right, I got my super glue, original super glue. So I'm gonna glue some on here. Actually, I'm gonna need my tape, so I'm gonna clean this top off. All right. Glue this. things dry kind of quick. It's like sticking to my hand, so you always gotta be careful. And I'm going to get my tape ready. Add a little bit, tad bit more. This. All right, tape that down. Once everything is dry, I'm gonna go ahead and sand everything down to kind of get ready for the top coat. I'm out of that one. Tape. Forgot to got my tape ready. Alright, let's let that dry. Alright, get ready to undercoat. So everything is prep-ish. I'm gonna do the undercoat and then I plastic everything else before I do the epoxy. I'm not doing the tile, the backsplash tile, so I'm just doing the countertop. I remove the sink. I would tape around that so the epoxy doesn't fall down, and then remove the tape to kind of create that edge. But that's where I'm at. I'm sanding everything. I don't have a stir stick, so I have some cut off piece of ply. Stirring that pretty well. And then I use my brush and kind of cut it, and then my roller. But I'll video that and show you, so. All right, so right here, I'm getting ready to paint, and I just realized I did not have any latex gloves. Normally, I personally recommend have some type of latex glove and wear any garment you don't mind getting dirty, because epoxy have a tendency of trying to get everywhere. So you want to be careful to protect yourself, protect your clothes, your hand. You don't want to get all over you. So in this case, I did not actually check my vehicle, check the job site. There was no latex glove. I think it was on a different job site. Anyways, after examining the countertop, I realized it was kind of a little bit dusty. So I kind of went over it with a cloth to kind of just wipe it down. And then I'm going to take my brush and basically cut. So I'm cutting all my edges because I'm going to roll. But the roller is going to get into those tight corners. So I'm taking the brush and then I'm going to go over all the corners before I roll. And this is undercoat, so this is before you pour your top coat, which is epoxy on top. So, but anyway, it's pretty simple. Don't afraid to take on epoxy. I know it can be nerve-wracking, especially if you haven't done it. This is my first time messing with this epoxy. I'm not afraid. This is my first time working with this product, but because I've done epoxy before, so I have a little bit of confidence in it. So, but if you haven't done it, I highly recommend at least try it in a small space, or try it on a plywood before you do an actual job or your own place. So always do experiment before you jump in it. In this case, I did not, because I dealt with epoxy before, and I actually did saw StoneCoat use this at the Texas Woodworking Festival. So I kind of have some idea how it works, and I watch some YouTube videos as well, just like you're watching mine. Appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way. So anyways, I'm going to let you finish this while I apply the undercoat on this countertop. Thanks. right, so this is what it looks like so far. I would do the rest of it, but it looks so nice and clean already. I will do a second coat, so when that dry. But pretty nice. All right, everything is dry. Getting ready to apply the second coat. But before I do, I'm gonna lightly sand. I have 120 grits, kind of the only thing I have. I will bump it up to 150, but 120 is fine. You just cuff it up a little bit before I apply the second coat. But everything looks pretty good. Nice and white. So when the epoxy go on top of this, it's gonna, you won't see any of the, anyways, the previous countertop will mainly be white and whatever my mix. I'm gonna do a dirty pour. I will show you that when I come back, but that's it. It's kind of dark in the space right now. It's about to pour, but anyways, with rain, not, anyways. So before I put the second coat on, I want to do a scratch test. So I got my nails, of course, sharp and pointy. So as you can see, pretty old up pretty good. So anyways, time for the second coat.